The coalition calculus. How India's opposition is testing a new power-sharing model that could. The old approach just got more expensive. The practical edge now comes from changing process, timing, and tooling together. We will map trigger, incentive shift, and downstream impact before the close. They started talking about power sharing before the 2029 election, not after winning, but before. This is the coalition calculus, and it's already reshaping how Indian politics will compete against Modi.N/N. Here's the problem they are solving. In 2019 and 2024, opposition parties fragmented. Congress, DMK, TMC, AAP, SP, they fought independently, split the anti-BJP vote, and lost leverage. By the time they tried to negotiate, Modi's coalition had already crushed them regionally. The 2024 result was supposed to be closer, but fractured opposition meant fragmented seats. What changed? They realized negotiation at the back end doesn't work. You have to agree on seats, strategy, and cabinet positions up front. /N/N. The new model is straightforward, but radical for Indian politics. Parties are mapping constituencies before the election campaign even starts. Congress gets certain states, say Madhya Pradesh, and some northern strongholds. DMK and allies lock in Tamil Nadu and parts of the south. AAP holds Punjab. SP secures Uttar Pradesh pockets. This isn't novel globally, European coalitions do this routinely, but in India's winner-take-all electoral system, it's a structural innovation. It removes the post-election chaos, where smaller parties demand 25 cabinet seats for winning 8 seats total. /N/N. Why does this matter? Because it neutralizes Modi's primary tactical advantage, exploiting fragmentation. The BJP's strength isn't just ideology. It's organizational reach and seat allocation discipline. Congress and allies now want to mirror that. But there's a deeper implication. If this model sticks, India's politics shifts from personality-driven coalition building, where Mamata, Akhilesh, Stalin negotiate individually, to ideological bloc-based negotiation. Seats stop being tradable currency and become predetermined. That sounds democratic, but it also hardens divisions. There's no space for last-minute deal-making or regional surprises. /N/N. The contrarian angle is important here. This model only works if smaller parties trust the formula. History says they won't. In 2015, the SP-Congress alliance in UP collapsed over seat sharing. In 2019, Congress-SP negotiations broke down 3 times. Why would 2029 be different? Ego, local strongmen, and state-level power dynamics haven't disappeared. If TMC thinks West Bengal deserves 40 seats, but Congress offers 35, the whole framework fractures. The second issue is timing. Campaigns start 6 months before elections. If the coalition calculus is locked 18 months early, a single scandal, a corruption charge, a defection, a state government collapse, can destabilize the entire arrangement. Modi's 2019 campaign capitalized exactly on this. He painted Congress as unstable and fractured. A pre-announced coalition is a fixed target. /N/N. So what actually changes if this works? 3 things. First, election campaigns become more about bloc versus bloc competition rather than multipolar fragmentation. Modi and Shah face a clearer opponent instead of 10 fragmented ones. That makes the opposition easier to attack. They are now unified in public perception, but also easier to negotiate against if the election is closer than expected. Second, cabinet formation becomes predictable. If opposition wins, smaller parties know their positions up front. Number 100-day drama, where everybody demands home or finance. Governance can start faster. That's genuinely valuable. Third, state elections and national elections decouple slightly. A state-level ally of BJP in Maharashtra or Gujarat can't suddenly join a national opposition coalition for spoils. The coalition model creates stronger boundaries. N/N. Here's what nobody's talking about. This model only survives if the opposition actually wins. If Modi wins again in 2029, with 240 to 250 seats, this entire experiment looks like overreach and arrogance. Smaller parties will say we negotiated away our independence for nothing. Congress will be blamed for forcing a centralized model that regional parties didn't want. But if the opposition hits 200+ seats and actually forms a government, this becomes the template for every future Indian coalition. That's the real stakes. Not 2029 alone, but whether India's multi-party democracy shifts towards structured pre-election pacts or remains chaotic and transactional. N/N. The final piece is international. China, Pakistan, and global investors watch Indian stability closely. A predictable coalition model, even if opposition-led, signals institutional clarity. Markets like clarity, even if they prefer the incumbent. Conversely, if the coalition fractures mid-campaign, it deepens the perception that Indian democracy is personality-driven chaos. So the calculus isn't just domestic power. It's about whether India's political system can professionalize its coalition building or whether it remains a hostage to ego and regional turf wars. By 2029, we'll know which version won. For now, the opposition is betting that pre-negotiation and seat-sharing discipline can finally challenge Modi's machine. Whether that bet survives first contact with electoral reality is the real story to watch. India's opposition parties just locked in something unprecedented before the 2029 election. They are pre-negotiating seat sharing and cabinet positions now, not after voting happens.